Get your head in the game. Talk straight across the 50 states, plug in the microphone. Somebody turn us up. Million views for your debuts, plug in the microphone. Data Sports Talk Radio. Straight up Texas. Welcome back, everyone. At 0940 hashtag what's the haps. Coming up at 1020 highlight remixes. The Stars in action last night. Back on the winning side. We were telling everybody they were talking about Nico so much last year. You forgot to bring up Jim Neal. It's time to evaluate the evaluators here at Straight Up Texas. We're going around with the microscope looking at all of the executives in Metroplex sports. We're not liking what we're seeing. We're not liking the trends that we're seeing here in Dallas. At 1020, hashtag highlight remixes. Flag flies high. Dallas flag flies. Flag planted in Dallas. All of our hashtags. Go on to our social media page at Dallas Sports TA2. Subscribe, engage, like. Do not forget to leave us a comment telling us who you are and where you come from. Once we receive the alert notification, we will subscribe to your channel and leave you a comment. Over 1,200 subscribers. Let's keep it going. Tell your friend, let your friend know you got this crazy at Dallas Sports Talk Radio going after all of the major bombs in hashtag the Metroplex Star, fastest growing sports talk news, weather, traffic broadcast, #1 dedicated to the local superstar. There's no debate. If you like it, we watch it. If you missed it, we will talk about it. Shout out to everybody who tells somebody subscribe, engage, like. At 1020, hashtag highlight remixes. Did anybody see San Antonio versus Houston last night? Hashtag straight up Texas. Rockets came back and won the game after being down by 20. KD versus Wemby. Wemby has already said KD is his favorite player of all time. And that's the coolest thing about this era of basketball. This is where the NBA can make its mark. You have Michael Jordan, arguably, in most people's eyes, the greatest of all time. #1 point scorer in the history of the game. Most championships after Bill Russell. The #1 coach. Each one of the new era in the NBA has someone or some idol. It's not like it was when we were young. We only had Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Dominique Wilkins. And then the 90s hit. Got KG, you got Kobe, you got Shaq, you got Rasheed Wallace. You got Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady. Then you got that era of generation that idolized those guys. Well, now you have guys that can look at LeBron James and say, I want to have a game like him. You got another group that say, I like KD. I want to have a game like him. Then you got another group saying, well, we like Steph Curry. You want to have a game like him. Then you come to Dallas and you say, well, we like Cooper Flagg. We like Klay Thompson. We like Max Christie. We like efficient, all around, rebound, score at a high level, efficient. That's how you start winning basketball. Anyone can run around and shoot 30-foot jumpers and stand at the arc and just watch the ball keep clanking on the back iron of the rim. You got professionals that shoot 1 for 20. The NBA is losing viewership because you have guys that are playing the game today. You have 50-year-old men saying, man, I wouldn't mind taking that cat out there and taking all his money because their fundamentals are lacking. You got to see that last night and just the response and how a game delay affects the youth versus a veteran. And even if the youth are veterans, you still saw the difference. You got Jeremy Scohan several times had to be shown it's not your job to repair a rim. Your job is to play basketball. But you see how he doesn't get in the game? That was a first-round draft pick 3 years ago. You see why he doesn't get in the game? If anyone, you young guys are not understanding why your basketball IQ sucks, it's because you're so into everything else besides the basketball game, besides perfecting your craft. You're so into your brand. I got my fuchsia colored hair. I got my painted nails. Adversity hit. Professionalism lacks. Then you have a generation looking at you like, you guys are the future? Your job isn't to repair the rim just because you're in the NBA. 3 times they had to stop this young man from climbing the ladder. And he's like, what? And that's what we're telling you. If you go to look at what Dr. King was talking about when it comes to the young men in our communities, Dak Prescott is an example. The example that you want for your son, or if your daughter is seeking a suitor, you would want your daughter to be married to a young man like Rain Dakota Prescott. Always local, always live. Straight up Texas. Dallas Sports Talk Radio. DallasSportsTalkRadio.com. This is how we start hour number 2. At 10:20, highlight remixes. Go on to our YouTube page at Dallas Sports Talk Radio and check out our highlights. Hashtag highlight remixes. Every day, we're the #1 sports talk news, weather, traffic broadcast with the most highlights of Dallas Mavericks, most highlights of the Dallas Cowboys, most highlights of the Dallas Wings, most highlights of the Dallas Stars, most highlights of the Texas Rangers than any other radio show in the hashtag Metroplex Star. There's no debate. If you like it, we watch it. If you missed it, we will talk about it. We are the #1 show dedicated to the local superstar. And we have the highlights to show. It's a highlight factory here in Dallas. Flag flies high. Everybody saw what he did at Madison Square Garden on Dr. King Day, MLK Day at MSG. Flag flies high. Beat down the New York Knicks in New York. That's the city where dreams are made of. When you beat them down in Madison Square Garden, New York. Flag flies high against Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Big Cat, and all that money, all them names, Mikal Bridges, all them names, OG Almanobi, all them names, man, y'all had all them names. Cooper Flag took the boys up there. Max Christie, first shot, boop, bottom of the net. Back in the day, we used to call that number draws. Max Christie. Inbound tip. Second-year player right there in Madison Square Garden, the Mecca. The only thing people want to see in Madison Square Garden was Mariska Hargitay of SBU. Nobody want to see the Knicks. They came up there to see Cooper Flag. Flag flies high at MSG. They come up, they don't, Stephen A. Smith, no one comes to New York to watch the Knicks. If that was the case, you'd be selling out all the time. You can't even sell out because the Knicks suck all the time. Had to steal our player. You took Jalen Brunson, fired the coach, Thibodeau, replaced him with Mike Brown. It won't change. You could have Phil Jackson on the sideline, Red Auerbach, and Lenny Wilkins. New York is not the basketball professional mecca that you thought. And that's why they're in the same boat as the Cowboys. Haven't won since they last lost. Mr. Jumble, always local, always live. Every day, Monday through Friday, right here at Dallas Sports Talk Radio. There is no debate. At 10:20, hashtag highlight remixes. We were telling y'all last week about LaShane Shaden McCoy and how he'll never get into the Ring of Honors at the Philadelphia Eagles. And that's funny how this dude can sit up and tell everyone that Dak career sucks. But let's talk about his career and how he's the all-time leading rusher and probably will never get into the Hall of Fame for the team. Because by the time he's eligible for the Hall of Fame, Jalen Hurts, as a quarterback, may have eclipsed him as the all-time rusher. So there's nothing to celebrate Shaden McCoy or his career. If you look at the top 10 running backs, you say, I want to take the top 10 running backs. Now, you can't even say the top 10 running backs because is he even in the top 10? Is Shady McCoy a top 10 running back? Email us, DallasSportsTalkRadio@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about the bomb, LaShawn McCoy. Lasheen, however you say that. Lesson, shady. We know that. We know he's shady, all right. Giving him mad work. Giving him crazy work. I want to see you give him crazy work. Earrings and the little pink lips. Oh, still wearing earrings. I don't get it. Grown men still walking around with earrings on, man. He's almost 50. 50. Still want to put holes in their ears, to put diamond earrings in their ears, to walk around for what? At 1020 highlight remixes, we're going to have some highlights of these bums. LaShawn, Shady McCoy. We're going to recap his career. But before we go, we also got to send a shout out to the haters around #Metroplex Star. We noticed that once we started calling out the bombs at the fan, the bombs at the ticket, the bomb Mike Ducey, the bomb Bill Jones, they started feeling some type of way. But don't think we forgot about Odyssey, ESPN. All of y'all are part of it too. You put the same crappy narrative out there, but you want to sit up there and try to save McDermott. You want to try to save Matt Ryan. Like, what has Matt Ryan done to earn an executive position with the Atlanta Falcons? But when LeBron petitions to have his son drafted by his team that he's currently playing for and won the championship for, you want to beat him down. Jim Neal is in Dallas running the Dallas Stars into the crapper. Got rid of a generational talent in Stankhoven to go get an aging superstar who hasn't delivered. But you don't hear the bombs at the fan, the Hawky Hawk, what do you call it, the Hawky Hawk or Hawky Hawk, Spits and Suds. You don't hear them saying, hey man, what's going on, Jim Neal? The way they trashed Nico Harrison for a whole year, knowing that it was the governor that called the shots. Tried to crap on Jason Kidd. When Jason Kidd get the team to the finals, the whole narrative, especially when they played the Clippers, go back and check your archives. That's why we stopped listening. Turn them off and leave them off. Until Odyssey changes his ways, we're coming at you all the time. We're going to destroy 105.3 The Fan until you start talking better about the Metroplex Sports and the Stars and giving us a fair shake. You crucified Nico, but you don't hear anybody talking about Jim Neal running the Stars into the ground. Where's that? Fire Jim Neal signs all across Dallas. All up Harwood and Deep Ellum. That's all you see. Fire Nico, the man gone. Now it's fired Nico. When you gonna put up Fire Jim Neal? When y'all gonna start saying Jim Neal needs to go? Now he must be paying somebody off up at Odyssey for y'all to not speak against him. #highlight remixes. We can show you all the highlights. Go check out our channel at Dallas Sports Talk Radio. #highlight remixes. You can see all of the downward spiral Jim Neal has caused by getting rid of Stankover.